Anthony Samsel, and we are discussing the glyphosate levels in food.
As I previously mentioned, glyphosate residues appear in milk, cheese, poultry, turkey, pork, beef, any animal products. And we had mentioned that some of the animal feed has up to 500 milligrams per kilogram, or parts per million, and these levels are extremely toxic, and this is actual cruelty to animals. And the glyphosate is passed through the food supply, passed through the food chain to us. We eat the eggs, we eat the fish, the turkey, whatever. Any animal that's fed a glyphosate contaminated grain is going to pass it on to us if we eat that product. So our health is impacted from not just the genetically engineered crops, but now from the animals that are eating the genetically engineered crops. And this is most disturbing.
Yeah.
And we also talked about how the Environmental Protection Agency has been petitioned by Monsanto just recently to raise glyphosate levels. There should be no glyphosate in food whatsoever. Glyphosate is damaging to our biology, it's damaging to animal biology, it's damaging to the planet.
And the only way we can avoid this is to eat organic meat.
Yes.
And poultry and organic grass-fed beef. Now, if it's grass-fed, does that mean it's glyphosate free?
If the beef is grass-fed, you also have to ask whether the animal was finished with grain. If they're finishing the animal with corn the last 30 days before the animal goes to slaughter, chances are it's genetically engineered grain. So would glyphosate residues be in that animal? Yes.
Okay. So you really have to know.
You really have to know where your food's coming from. We are in a debacle in this country. We have one of the most unsafe food supplies on earth. And the federal government will tell us that our food is safe. It's not safe. If our food is glyphosate or any herbicide in it, it is not safe for human consumption or animal consumption. We mentioned earlier that there are 160 food groups that are contaminated with glyphosate. And we mentioned how even oranges and apples and apricots and tangerines, any orchard that they use glyphosate for weed control under the trees, the glyphosate is absorbed into that plant. Glyphosate again is used as a top kill on many crops like wheat before harvest, to desiccate it, or to top kill peas for dried peas.
To dry them.
To dry them. Yeah. Beans for dried beans, to make baked beans. All contaminated with glyphosate.
It's like we're slowly poisoning our entire population.
Potatoes.
Oh.
Potatoes. They use.
Don't want to know that.
They use glyphosate. I know you don't want to know this, but we
French fries are my kid's favorite.
We need to know the truth, and I'm going to give you the truth. Prior to planting potatoes, the field is sprayed with glyphosate. That's to kill any perennial weeds or any annual weeds coming up. The field is planted with the seed potato.
Right.
The plants grow. The plants are then sprayed with chlorothalonil, which is one of the most dangerous fungicides on the planet. That's the focus of another paper that Stephanie and I will be writing in the next few months. The potatoes are also treated with imidacloprid, which is a systemic pesticide which has been linked to bee deaths and pollinating insect deaths. Banned in Europe. We're trying to get it banned in this country, but it's falling upon deaf ears with the Environmental Protection Agency. Imidacloprid, in concert with glyphosate, which is an organophosphate type chemical, is synergistic. The effects of both chemicals are greater than either one alone. So the neurotoxic effects are greatly increased. This is critical now with potatoes. Now the potatoes are grown. The farmer wants to harvest the potatoes. Now the farmer goes through and sprays glyphosate by helicopter, by airplane, or by boom with his tractor and sprayer. Goes through the field and sprays with glyphosate to kill the vines, to desiccate them, to dry them out so that the mechanical harvest is easier and enhanced. Those residues, not only from the glyphosate that's in the ground from treating the weeds prior to planting, but now the glyphosate from the top kill and desiccation is now absorbed into the potato itself. So virtually all potatoes that are not organic have glyphosate residues. Not just glyphosate, but they have imidacloprid residues, and they have chlorthalonil residues. You have a toxic cocktail with potatoes that is responsible for a multitude of diseases. I'm currently looking at a problem right now with Stephanie. We're trying to help some folks up in Prince Edward Island in Canada. Prince Edward Island is the cancer capital of Canada. The island is so affected. And it's a population that is surrounded by potatoes. Their agriculture is based on potatoes. They have their well waters contaminated. The air that they're breathing up there is contaminated with not only glyphosate but chlorthalonil, the fungicide. This is very, very frightening. And again, the Environmental Protection Agency has registered these chemicals as safe to use in agriculture based on documentation from industry.
From the people who make the chemicals.
That's correct.
So they're allowing them to police themselves, to make their own rules, to put these toxic chemicals on our food, on our earth, in our air, in our water.
Right. And the toxicological studies that are done don't go past 90 days. And generally, you're not going to see adverse results unless you go beyond 90 days of study. To the full, well, with rats, like to the full life of the animal, out 2 years.
Yeah, they don't do that.
And based on chemical toxicology, the field of toxicology is inadequate because it does not allow for us to look at and examine the effects of subliminal dosage.
What does that mean?
That means doses that are lower than the LD50. The lethal dose, the LD50
Right.
is the lethal dose where half the animals in the study died. And that's what our toxicology of pesticides and herbicides are based on. The LD50.
The ones where the animals died, not the ones where the animals didn't die.
They say that the formerly used chemical Temic, which is an aldecarb pesticide, they say a half of a milligram per kilogram is lethal.
Okay.
Very toxic.
Okay.
This is just for an example.
Okay.
Well, what that meant is that 0.5 milligrams per 0.5 milligrams per kilogram of weight is the lethal dose necessary to kill half the laboratory animals in
I
the
see
study.
what you're saying, okay.
And so they based
So
the...
that's a lethal amount.
Right, so they
any-
based the toxicology on that. And they never look at the subliminal doses, which could be in parts per trillion,
Right.
as to what it may be doing. Like with glyphosate, destroying our bacteria,
Yeah,
the bacterial balance necessary to make serotonin from
right,
tryptophan.
right. So if we were to ingest, say, 200 parts per million of glyphosate, it could
kill us.
It'd kill us. But at
It would gel our blood.
Right, but at 0.2 parts per million, we could live for another 20, 30 years. We would just have destroyed gut bacteria and maybe get Crohn's disease or Parkinson's or whatever.
A
And-
plethora
yeah, and all kinds of...
of disease
right.
outcomes. A plethora. And then we'd go to our doctor,
Yeah.
and the doctor would prescribe a pharmaceutical,
Yes.
another chemical, which is going to either up or down regulate a particular gene that's going to cause the effect to subside,
Yeah.
but there are side effects.
Next speaker is Zen Honeycutt, Director of Moms Across America. She led a launch last summer of 175 nationwide parades for GE labeling on the 4th of July. Ladies and gentlemen, Zen Honeycutt.
Thank you so much. First of all, how many of you have been volunteering since Prop 37? Beautiful. How many of you marched in one of the Moms Across America marches to label GMOs? Awesome, awesome. How many of you care about what you eat? All right. First of all, I want to say I am truly honored to be here with you today, with all of you. Whether you have just started or you have been doing this for years, you are what makes America great. You are America's heroes. Without you, the ones who came before me as well, the health of my family, my husband Todd over there, raise your hand, and my son Bronson in blue with the bear hat, and Ben and Bodie, their health would not be what it is today. So I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. I also want to say thank you to Bob McFarland and the California State Grange. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for him and the staff. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want to say every one of you deserves to be associated with this amazing organization and be a member. So please sign up and be a member today, whether or not you live around here. I'm here today because of love. We are all here today because we love our families. We love our children. We love our communities. We love our dogs and cats. We love our birds and bees and butterflies and our environment. We love our freedoms and we love our rights. I'm here because we have faith and we love our farmers. We have faith in our farmers that they can farm and will farm as has been done for thousands of years before, without GMO foreign proteins and without toxic chemicals. We have faith in our farmers. And we have faith in Californians. Californians do not back down. We do not give up. Our love for our families will never end, and we want GMO labeling now. Now, some may say it's not likely, but that doesn't concern us. It doesn't concern our children either. After Prop 37, which was a win in so many ways, my son Ben said, "Mom, even Star Wars took 6 episodes." And they had Yoda. So our children continue to inspire us. You know, he went GMO-free and organic for 4 months, and his life-threatening allergic reactions are drastically reduced. His nut allergy has decreased from a 19 down to a 0.2. This is unheard of. This is not just about an allergy. This is about life and the people we love. And it's not enough, however, that my family or your family just eats organic. My son's future spouses are out there somewhere, and I want them to, if they want to be able to have their own children someday and experience the profound love that it is to have your own child. Now, today, young couples have a 30% failure to conceive rate here in America. That is the lowest recorded rate in U.S. history. Everyone needs to know about GMOs. Now, I asked myself, what could I do? And inspired by Jeffrey Smith's Tipping Point Network and Robin O'Brien's Patriotism on a Plate, I thought of 4th of July parades. We could reach thousands of people locally and millions nationally in a single day, and it would be fun. With the partnership of the California State Grange and support of Pam Larry and Kathleen Halal and many more, I founded Moms Across America and the March to Label GMOs. What happened was amazing. Leaders from all across America emerged. Moms and supporters said, I'm the one that will have a group march in my 4th of July parade and let my whole town know about GMOs. And they did. In 172 parades in 44 states, generous, committed people made banners and signs and floats, and they sang as they marched down main streets all across America. We directly reached 1.5 million people and tens of millions more through the 120 media outlets, radio, websites, newspapers, and TV that picked up the story, including CNN and Fox News. Now, our food system may be broken in America, but our people are not. We are creative, we are courageous, and we are committed, and we will not stop. Since the 4th of July parades, we have received hundreds of stories from other moms, such as Karen in California, whose son went from a daily use of an inhaler to never having to use an inhaler again. And Cindy from Rhode Island, her son only ate organic for 2 years, and she only makes $40,000, and she's a single mom, so that was difficult. But it was important, and when he entered high school this year, not one of his teachers could tell that he used to be severely autistic. His life is dramatically improved. Who knows how our country will benefit from the contribution that this one person will make? His future, our future, is a new future because his mom found out about GMOs. Now, the projection of autism is that 1 out of 2 of our children will have autism in the next 20 years. What kind of society will we have? What kind of future and economy will we have if our children's futures are compromised? We moms say, not on our watch. We will not stop. The love for our children will never end, and we want a future, new future now. We demand GMO labeling now so that millions of people who still don't know about GMOs can have the ability to take care of the families they love. Moms see that GMOs are substantially different, and our kids get better when we get off GMOs. We demand that people of all economic backgrounds have access to GMO-free and pesticide-free food, and we have faith in our farmers that they can provide that. Now, how many of you think that most people really don't want to know about GMOs because it's too inconvenient? Raise your hands. How many people, you try, they just really don't want to know, right? Well, let's check in about that. How many of you know someone with diabetes, obesity, keep your hands up, asthma, autoimmune disorders, allergies, or autism? Look around. I assert that everyone really wants to know about GMOs because everyone knows someone in America who is sick. 1 out of 2 of our children are right now have a chronic illness in America. 1 out of 2 of our men and 1 out of 3 of our women are expected to get cancer. So everyone wants to know about GMOs and pesticides because we have enough problems and we want solutions. We want a new future now. So what can we do? Be a leader and inspire leaders. We ask you to be the one to say, my town will know about GMOs. Give them a new future. Go to momsacrossamerica.com and host one of the 75 parades in California. Or adopt a sister city and be the one to inspire leadership in another town by calling the Moms Club and the Leche League and the Holistic Moms Network. By getting outside of our comfort zone, we will win. We can reach 600,000 people in California and 5 million people in the US in a single day. Now, we are called consumers, but we are also the creators of our future. The future belongs to you. The future belongs to me. It belongs to our children. The future belongs to us. This is our time for health and freedom in America and California. Thank you.
Zen Honeycutt.
Okay, we're here with Kathleen Halal, the co-founder of Moms Across America.
Good morning.
And we want to interview Kathleen about how she started a very successful speaker series about GMOs in Orange County. Kathleen, can you tell us how you got the idea to start a speaker series?
Yes, well, it fell in at about the same time that you and I got together to start Moms Across America, but I had heard about GMOs from friends. I'd seen various movies, but it had never really clicked before how GMOs are affecting my family directly and our children and this nation directly until I heard a speaker speak. And he so inspired me that I thought, I have to get this guy out, because he was so factual. He just made it all click. He just got to the gist of what was going on with our food supply and how it was directly affecting our health. That speaker was farmer Howard Vlieger from Iowa. And when I heard him speak about what was going on the farms with the plants and with the animals directly, it was so moving. I just thought, I have to get him out in front of other people so it can click for them. And hearing his story personally from a speaker and being able to ask questions and being in the same room with them is so moving. So I wanted to do that for other people, have other people learn about GMOs.
Great, but that's a big task. You wanted to have him come speak many times in 1 week, and you called all different kinds of places. So what motivated you to say, we're not just going to have him speak once, we're going to have him speak many times in many places?
Well, I thought that his time was so valuable. When he was flying all the way out from Iowa, I just thought, we have to make the best use of his time that we can and reach as many people as we can. And so I decided, I asked him, how many days can you come stay? And I spoke with my husband about it, and my husband decided to kind of take over taking care of the children for those days. And I was allowed to completely dedicate my time to getting the speaker around to as many places as possible. So he told me how many days he could come for, and I decided to block out that time on my calendar. And then when I had those days, I called and called everyone I could think of who might be interested in having him. I called universities, I called churches, I called mothers groups, I called cultural groups, I made arrangements with my PTA. I just called everyone I could think of that might have a group that might be interested. We have an environmental center locally. It's a little garden center where they teach people about gardening and nature and so on. And I just asked everybody I could. I called people who were involved with yoga. I called yoga studios. Any environmental studies clubs I could find, either on university campuses or moms groups, anyone who might be interested in nature. A place that you can go is Meetup. I believe that's a nationwide organization, and you can type in, what you're interested in. You could say, moms or environmental concerns or nutrition, and all of these names and all these organizations will pop up, and you can contact them and ask them.
And what did you say when you were calling them? How did you get them to agree to have a farmer come speak about GMOs at their library?
Well, I told them who I was. I told them that I live in the community and that I'm a mother in the community. And the reason why I was doing it was to help other people learn about nutrition, that I had discovered that our own children had been affected negatively by these foods, and that the whole thing with GMOs is that nobody knows what they are really. Nobody really understands what they are. Nobody necessarily knows where they are. And that's why they can get away with putting GMOs into our food supply. And educating people is the key to having them know where they are and know how to improve their health. And I just spoke from the heart and I said, really, I have someone who's a fabulous speaker, who's an expert on the subject. He's a farmer from Iowa. I don't know if you can get any better than that for somebody who really sees GMOs in action every day. And he's a consultant for different farms. So he sees all the farms all over the Midwest and Canada, and he spent years and years studying GMOs, so he had really a bird's eye view. So if you have a really good expert that you can promote, just speak about how great that expert is, and speak from the heart about how you're doing this because you care about the community and you want the community to know about what's going on. And even I learned a lot just putting on the tour, you know, the series, riding in the car in between talks. I kept learning and asking questions and hearing the talk 17 times and doing radio interviews and so on. I learned all kinds of things that I hadn't known before. There's always something even you can learn. But just, I would say, speak from the heart. And even if you're only going to plan one talk in your community, you know, whatever you have the time to organize is worthwhile, because even if you reach only one person at that talk, you're really doing a good thing for your community because you're spreading the word.
That's great. Now, some of your talks were standing room only and had 40-something people and, you know, really had a great turnout. What do you attribute the success to those talks?
A lot of it depends on the people that approve you to bring a speaker in, on their end, how much marketing they will do. Like Zen, you and I did a lot of marketing for Howard's talks together. But if the organization helped to market on their end as well, it seemed as though that seemed to create the biggest draw for people to come. It seems to be the best turnout. I mean, some of the churches where he spoke had excellent attendance. So it helps to kind of partner with the people who will host the talk and see if they will, you know, spread the word as well.
Great. So to have the leader of that, say, ecology center or church or mom's group, have that leader promote it with all of the people that they know.
That's right, as
Great.
well as you promoting it with everyone that you know. And, you know, we at Moms Across America will help you in any way we can as well, with flyers and materials, and we'll do anything to help you get the word out as well. But really partnering, teaming up. And even if there are only two of you, it's amazing what you can do. So we encourage you to go out and try this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathleen, on speaking about how to have a speaker series in your town and empower your whole town about GMOs. Thank you so much for what you've done.